name is Bill Murray. I live in Wisconsin, the United States, and I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs and startups to build products that people want. And that starts with understanding your customer really, really well and what their problem is. When entrepreneurs come to me for help, a lot of times they talk to me about what it is that they're building. And what I do is I help them step back a little bit and help them understand first, what problem are they solving before they potentially make a mistake building the wrong thing. I'm super passionate about it. It's very exciting to do this kind of work. And I've worked with young people a few times as well, and really enjoy hearing their ideas and working with them as well, and that energy. When I'm not helping on entrepreneurs, I've worked in a couple of large companies helping adults to be more innovative and to have an innovation mindset. And that's exciting too, because it changes changes people's lives when they change their mindset. And I'll talk a little bit about that in one of my first slides.
It's all yours.
All right, then I can share. And I will share this screen right here. And can you see that screen?
Yep, lemonade.
Excellent. So this is going to be all about asking really great questions. And I'm going to use a very simple example of a lemonade stand, which is something that a lot of young people in the United States do at some point as a young person. They set up a lemonade stand on a corner and they sell lemonade to usually the kids in the neighborhood and a few other people, and it's a lot of fun. But the interesting thing is that with a few extra skills, you could actually turn a lemonade stand into something that could help you to fund other things that you want to do and actually make some good money that you could use for other ideas and that kind of thing. But we're going to talk about the same sort of skills that would help you build a great lemonade stand, help you build anything else, whether it's a charitable organization or a product or a service or an app or a website. So ideas are fun and they're exciting. And it's exciting when you get an idea. But if you really want to build a business, you have to learn if your idea actually matters to someone else enough for them to actually want to pay you for it, or to do something that helps you move forward, whether that payment is money or time or whatever it is you're asking for. And really it comes down to understanding risk. And risk is a thing that in business we talk about. It's the possibility that something you don't want to happen might actually accidentally happen. And it's something that would slow you down or keep you from moving forward. And so you want to do things to reduce risk. You want to do things that make what you do less risky. And for me, this is actually the most fun part. I mean, building products is fun, but actually learning about people's problems and what it is that drives them is the most fun to me. So risk is highest in the beginning, when you just have this idea and you believe that it's a good idea, but you don't really have any evidence that anyone else thinks it's a good one. And not that your idea is a bad one, it's just that it might not be a good idea for other people. So learning about how other people see your idea helps reduce that risk, and then can help prevent expensive mistakes that could slow you down or put you out of business before you even had a chance to get started. So here's that mindset that I was talking about. Again, a lot of people come to me and they say, I'm building a blank, I'm building an app, I'm building a company, I'm building this, and I'm building that. And I want to shift that. I want to shift that to, I'm solving a problem for a customer so that she can experience an outcome. And this is where we really understand that problem. And so then the product that we build helps fit in there between the customer, this person who has the problem, and the thing that they want to get to, that outcome. And that's the thing. They don't really want products, they want outcomes. I don't necessarily need your product. I just need to get to a better place in my life. And if your product looks to them like a solution to that problem, then they'll use it. But if it doesn't, then they won't. So my advice is fall in love with your customers' problems. Understand what it is that drives them to look for solutions. And then you're going to be able to build the right solution because you're going to be working with that customer. You may love your product, but remember, your customer might not love it. So work with them, understand them. And so my words are, stop building and start learning, and then build. So here's Allie. This is this particular picture was a number of years ago. This happens to be my oldest child, my daughter, but she always had lots of great ideas. And her idea is that she wants to open up a lemonade stand, and she wants to run it all summer long to pay for a school trip that she was going to do the next spring, where they were going to go to a church and help this church to have a summer camp for underprivileged children in the area. They're going to do soccer and softball and stuff like that, volleyball, that kind of thing. They're going to have a camp for them. And she said, so I'm going to charge $1 or $2 per cup, and I'm going to make lots of money. It's going to be really easy, and it's going to be all kinds of fun. What could go wrong, right? Everyone loves lemonade. But then she stopped for a minute and said, well, how could I find out, though? Because she could feel the risk. It'd be risky just to go out and build a great big stand and try to do this. So then she asked, how do I learn? And the best way to learn is to put yourself in your customer's shoes. What is your customer experiencing? What problems do they have in their life? What things do they want to have more of, even, or less of? And then go out and talk to these people. Identify them. Ask them if they have this problem. Ask them about how much of the problem they have. Watch them as they try to solve those problems. Learn from your competition. What other types of things are they doing right now to solve the problem? Is it working or is it not working? And then test your idea with people that should like it. And the nifty thing is that actually in most startups, just like doesn't matter who you are, your first product can actually be invisible. It can actually not exist. If you can just get an idea of what it is your customer is looking for, you can just show them a picture of that product. You could show them a mock-up on the website and just see if they click the button to buy now. And then you can ask them for feedback. Hey, why did you click the button? Why didn't you? Why did you like it? Why didn't you like it? And remember, all feedback is good feedback. If they didn't like your idea, don't take it personally. It's not that you had a bad idea. It just wasn't a good idea for them. Keep those ideas coming. Ideas are where great things start, but understand that your customer may not be as excited about it as you. So then Allie asked, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a checklist of things that I want to learn about. I want to know who my customer is. I want to know, why do they buy lemonade? I want to know, where and when do they have the greatest need for my product, which is sort of my theory of value. I think people are going to have a lot of value. I'm going to be able to bring a lot of value to my customer if I bring them lemonade here at this place at this time and this kind of lemonade. She asked, what type of day do they need? What time of day are they going to need it the most? How much should I charge? What's my competition? And then what kind of questions will I ask my customers that buy or don't buy so I can be more successful tomorrow? So then she went to work. But the nice thing is the first thing she didn't do was build a lemonade stand. She actually went out and talked to people first. So she talked to her friends and her neighbors, the people in her neighborhood. She found out some of them like their lemonade sweet and some like it sour. Some prefer other types of drinks instead of lemonade, maybe with less sugar, more vitamins, or they just like water. People said they like it on a hot day, usually in the afternoon. They like it when they exercise or when they're out doing work in their yard. They don't think to buy it often, but they really enjoy it when it's actually offered to them. It's not something that's always on their shopping list, but they really do enjoy it when they get the chance. And when they're outside, though, they don't often have cash in their pocket. They don't carry money when they're outside or out walking, that kind of thing. But they do always have their smartphone with them. And they also said they really like supporting businesses that have a charitable focus. So then she looked around her neighborhood and she saw there were a lot of joggers and walkers in the morning and the late afternoon on a path near her home that went through the middle of town. And in the late afternoon and evening, there were even more people than in the morning. She noticed that a lot of the people had dogs with them. They were walking their dogs. But she also noticed that not a lot of people carried drinks with them. They didn't have water bottles or anything like that. So then she sat down and thought about what she'd learned. She had a theory of value. She said, you know what? I think people out walking or running get thirsty, but they don't actually bring stuff to drink with them. I think that selling lemonade on this path, on the jogging path here, will be attractive, will be valuable to walkers and runners. And the fact that my proceeds are going to a charitable activity are going to really appeal to them. So she decided to test it. First thing she wanted to test what kind of lemonade would be the most popular. She was going to buy several liters of a sweet lemonade and several liters of a sour lemonade, and she was going to mix it potentially to suit each customer's individual taste. They could tell her if they like it sweet or sour or right in between, and then she could mix it there, and that would give her flexibility. She was going to sell a small and a large size for $1 and for $2. She was going to accept cash, and she was going to take Google Pay and Apple Pay. And she was able to use her parents' accounts for that. She was going to go to the jogging path near her home, and she was going to do it from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And she was going to offer a free dog treat with every purchase. So if you had a dog, you could get a free dog treat if you bought a lemonade from her. And then she's going to make a big sign on her table with pictures stating that the proceeds from the lemonade stand were supporting her class trip to help a distant church run a sports program for disadvantaged youth. Finally, she was really careful to test small. She only bought the amount of lemonade that she thought she'd need for one afternoon at the path, and she bought equal amounts of the sweet and the sour. She used her parents' account for the online payments. She found some cups left over from her birthday party that she could use. She borrowed a table from her neighbor that was just the right size, and she made her sign from found supplies around the house, so she didn't spend any money except on the lemonade. And then she thought up all the questions she wanted to ask people that stopped by her stand so that she could get better and get all their feedback. And she made a little form so that she could write down all the things that she learned. And then she went and set up shop at 4 o'clock. So what happened? Well, so she ran it from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock. And she said people were mostly very positive about her stand. And they gave her ideas about other locations that might also be successful for her. She ran out of the sour lemonade in just 1 hour, but she called her mom, and her mom quick ran to the store and brought her more so that she could stay in business. Customers with dogs really liked the free treats for their dog, but some didn't think the choice of treats was the healthy kind. She noticed that business was best in the last hour from 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock. And that the joggers, the runners, the people that are exercising, running, they didn't stop very much. They smiled and they waved. They were very polite. But the casual walkers, the neighborhood children, they did stop. She noticed that people like being able to pay electronically. $1 and $2 prices didn't seem to be a problem for people, though most people just bought the $1 cup. Some people, though, actually gave her some extra money for her trip. And even some people that didn't even want lemonade offered her some money as well. And because they were interested in what her trip was all about and how she was going to be helping people. So then she came home and sat down and looked at everything that she had learned after testing it out for the first 3 hours. And she came up with insights. And insights are really important because insights are the why of what you learn. So when you have data, you look at that data, you look at all the things you learn, and you ask yourself, why are people saying this? Why are they doing this? Why is the data like this? And you put things together and you build them into things we call insights. Insights help you to improve because they're things that you can take action on, that you can do something as a result. So she had an insight that people were actually walking later in the afternoon and the evening than she thought because they were having their dinner first at about 6 o'clock and then walking from maybe 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock or a little later. So the first thing she decided was, I'm going to change my hours from 5 until 8 instead of 4 until 7 to get more of the casual evening walkers. And she also noticed there wasn't a lot of business from 4 o'clock till 5 o'clock anyway. I'm going to buy a lemonade in the ratio of 3 sour to 1 sweet because most people like their lemonade more sour because I don't want to run out again and have to call my mom and have her bring more lemonade. I'm going to ask the dog walkers for their suggestions for healthy dog treats when the subject comes up. So those that were concerned about the cheap dog treats she bought, find out what the good ones are, and then she was going to take a look and see if they were in her budget or not. She's going to give customers and non-customers the option to donate money to the trip. And she's going to set her stand up tomorrow from 12 until 3 o'clock at the local park based on customer advice. A lot of people said, hey, this is a good spot, but another great spot for you would be at the park over there because there's a lot of young families with little kids that they take them over in the afternoon, and they'd probably love to have some lemonade. And she's going to run that in addition to the 5 until 8 on the path. So let's look back. What did Allie do great? Well, she did a great job understanding her customer, especially where and when to find those customers. And that's really important. If you don't know where your customer is or when they need your product, it's going to be really hard to show them your product and get feedback. She used what she learned to test a low-cost lemonade stand. And in fact, she learned so much that she realized she didn't have to build an expensive-looking stand or have expensive-looking equipment to get people to buy. So she didn't actually even improve it over the little table that she borrowed from her neighbor and in the sign that she had made. She got feedback from her customers right away, how she could do better, and she acted on it right away. She tested all those things right away. And then she tried another location, the same low-cost way to better understand how she could spend her time the most profitable way. And I think most importantly, as I was talking before at the beginning, instead of guessing her way through building her business, thinking what the customer might want, she asked questions of the people that would actually make it successful to give her clues how she should build it. So you say, well, this is just a lemonade stand. This has nothing to do with my idea. Well, it's the same whether you're building computer software or an app or a better spatula or whatever it is. Understanding your customer and the problems they have or the needs that they have will help you avoid costly mistakes and will actually shorten up the time. Some people think it takes longer to work this way. Actually, it takes a lot less time because you don't spend a lot of time building something customers don't like and then having to go back and figure out where it all went wrong. Don't assume that your customer should want your product. Should is this weird word that doesn't mean anything when it comes to building products. There's a lot of things that could keep people from buying your product. So understand the difference between logic and emotion. Should is logical. Well, they should want it because they're this kind of person and they live in this kind of place. But there may be emotional factors, cultural factors, other types of factors that keep them from getting to your product. So that's why understanding them in their situation, in that moment that they have their problem is so important. And really important, don't do traditional marketing research as a startup, as when you have a new idea. Don't ask people if they would buy your product because that's just as risky as thinking a customer should want your product. What people say, because everyone will say, oh yeah, that's a great idea, you should build that. But then it's disappointing when it turns out they don't actually buy it because of something they didn't share with you. What people say and what they actually do are often different, not because they're bad people or they're lying to you. Sometimes they're just trying to be polite. And sometimes they feel like they would buy it, but when it comes time to actually pay for something or do something to get it, they're not willing to do it. So don't do marketing research, do customer research. Go get that customer and understand them better than they understand themselves. Test a simple version of your product with your customer as soon as possible, get feedback and improve it. Like I said earlier on, the first version of your product can be non-existent. It could just be a picture, a drawing. It can be whatever you want that doesn't take a lot of building. Because if you can get a lot of feedback just on a picture of your product, imagine how much time you'd save and money building something that potentially the customer might not want. And then also, this is the hard part. It's always hard to ask a customer for money. I mean, asking for money is hard, or asking for anything, or for time, or any other thing that you want the customer to give you. But you have to ask them for that as early as possible. You don't want to test if people like free products, because I can tell you, I love free products. We know the answer to that particular experiment already. Find out if your customer is actually willing to part with something valuable to them to get your product. And again, it's not always money. It could be time, could be their reputation, could just be their email address, but make sure that they're willing to trade something. So now it's time to get started. Define your product as a solution to a specific problem that you believe or that you observe that people have. And don't be afraid if you don't have ideas. Some people I talk to say, well, I'm not good at innovation because I don't have ideas. You don't have to have any ideas to be an innovator. All you have to do is be really great at observing people and see problems in the world. Because when you can do that, then you can work with that customer to come up with the really great ideas. So find people and talk to them about the problem. Show them their product as soon as you have one and see if they'll actually use it or not. Get feedback. Why did they use it? Why didn't they? Did it solve their problem? Why did or why didn't it? And don't be afraid of their answers. Be excited when they tell you it's great, and be just as excited when they tell you it's terrible, because in those moments you can learn everything you need to know to make it better, or to even know that, maybe it's something that you should step away from and, and look at a different idea. And that's my last point there. Don't be afraid to step away from your idea if you can't find customers or if it isn't helpful to them. Move on to your next idea. If you had one good idea, you're going to have another one. You don't want to spend all your money and all your time on something that maybe wasn't as great as you thought it was, and then not have any time or money left over to work on the next one, which might be the great idea. And then just a little bit about my organization. 12 Ronnies is an incubator based in the UK, and you can go to their website. There's a lot of free tools there. You'll see a couple videos of me talking about this kind of stuff. And you can even talk with other people that are entrepreneurs and they're mentors, and get feedback and and get their thoughts about your ideas. And with that, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Bill, I am so unhappy. I wish I had met you 50 years ago. You have no idea how unhappy I am. That was excellent.
Well, thank you. I'm really passionate about it because I've seen so many people spend a lot of time on an idea that just was never gonna go anywhere. And I felt bad because I wanted this person to have a chance to be great at their next idea. But sometimes they just got so stuck, they fell in love with their idea instead of the problem. And problems are amazing, and when you solve it for someone, it's the most amazing feeling you can ever have. And that keeps me always coming back, because when you solve that problem for that person and their life is better, well, I can't imagine anything better than that.
Hi, Bill and Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Tell me about your 12 Ronnies. Where did that come from?
Well, they sort of took me in like an animal at a shelter. I started showing up at their little meetings. I heard about them, and they're originally based in the UK. They're starting to spread a little bit to the United States. They're always looking for people to mentor people. They're affiliated with a university near London. That they do some work with there, and they occasionally host events for entrepreneurs, either at the university or online. And it's just a great opportunity for me to get involved with other people that have ideas, and give me more and more practice helping them to get to where they're trying to go, and help them understand their customer better, and understand that they have to do that before they start building.
Have you ever talked to generally children, but sometimes adults, about using the statement "I wish"? Because
Sure.
that way, you're getting from them something that they would like to see.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
there was.
Talking to customers is amazing, because they're always so much more open than you expect them to be, because when you start asking them about the problem that they're having, you're the first person that ever bothered to ask them, and they could be in real pain, and they've been experiencing this, and they've had no one to talk to, and they felt like maybe they were alone in the world. But you start talking about and asking about and understanding it, and they'll tell you everything you need to know to build what it is to help get them from where they are to where they want to be, is without that problem.
So, do you have a large clientele currently?
Well, most of my time is at I work at a large medical malpractice insurance company and risk company in the United States, based out of California. Before that, I worked at another insurance company, and there spent the last 5 or 10 years helping drive innovation mindsets in people, getting them stopping building and starting thinking about problems. And like I said, it really changes people, because all of a sudden they see very quickly the impact of what they do, and they can learn really quickly whether they're on the right track or not, instead of building something for 6 months or a year or whatever, and then finding out that it wasn't the right thing. That's really disappointing. And so everyone I work with, I help to shorten that up. Every time we talk, how do we know that we should continue doing this? What evidence do you have? If we don't have any evidence, then either we got to go out and get it, or we need to stop and do something else that's going to be more important.
So the 12 Ronnies has clients, and this is a paid situation?
They're moving to some paid options, but right now you can go there and get yourself signed up, and you can just, they've got a message board there where you can interact with other entrepreneurs, mentors, other people, and just have great conversations about, hey, what should I do next? Hey, I've got this idea. What do you think? And all that's free right now. So the paid stuff is going to be for more of those later stage entrepreneurs and that kind of thing. But it's a really great, there's a lot of great people there who are eager to help out and to give feedback. And it's a great environment.
Well, it sounds like really fun.
Yeah.
And so have other children followed your oldest one's entrepreneurial attitude?
Yeah, my son's a business student at one of the big universities here in Wisconsin, and my daughter's actually just going to be finishing up college this year, and she's actually working in biotech. So
You can use a lot of innovation there for sure.
absolutely, and she's excited about it, and she's already gotten the attention of her boss by using some of the words that I use.
Well, that's great. That's great. This is really exciting, and it's good to see that there are people like you out there that are, trying to promote quality products and entrepreneurial practices, and it's great.
Thank you. It's a passion. It drives me every day. So, and if any of the people watching want to reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever, I'd love to talk with them and hear about what they're doing. And what they'll get from me is a lot of questions. I won't tell them what to do, but I'll ask them why they're doing what they're doing.
This was Bill, this was excellent. Have you ever sat down with your son and talked to him about some of the things that his professors are telling them?
Yeah, I mean, in college you get a lot of the traditional sort of build your product, that sort of thing. But yeah, all my kids have been well schooled over the years about experimentation, behavioral experimentation. What's the simplest thing that we can build to test our riskiest assumption with our customer? What's that tiniest thing? Is it just a picture? Can we show them a picture and find out if we're on the right track? And that's and they know that well.
That's great.
Have you ever thought about getting into academia and I'm serious, and setting up a class and talking about that? Serious. I don't know if you're aware of this, but every single university in the world right now is setting up an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of them are doing a good job.
They're
The ones that I've run into.
well, they're being run by people who read the book or
Yeah.
maybe even wrote the book as opposed to did the activity.
Yeah, it's something that appeals to me, and I've had some interactions with universities and that kind of thing, coming in and talking to classes about this sort of thing. As far as getting into academia, that's probably something I'll have to wait till after I retire.
Okay.
But I love doing the volunteer stuff because it's it's going out and sharing something I'm passionate about and something that works every time it's tried.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for talking with us. This was absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you, Jake, and thank you, Michelle.
We've recorded this and we're going to be putting it up on our YouTube channel, and there'll be people watching this over and over again. So I hope you get a lot of response.
I'd love to. I love talking about this. It generates energy for me. So those of you out there watching, do me a favor and reach out. I'd love to hear your story.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.